So, my journey with handpans started quite a long time ago when I discovered a couple of people, especially Mumi, which she makes handpans. And it was when I discovered her, it wasn't just the sound, it was the fact that I could feel the energy that she'd put into the handpan that was then coming out of the handpan. And I do really struggle with linear time these days, which, as you can see by the by the lanolin, it's quite cool at the moment. And yeah, it was. I mean, in linear time, I would say it was probably a couple of years ago. And I mean, I'd heard handpans played before, but it just wasn't the same. And there was another guy, I can't remember his name now, but it was what really started something inside of me. And I wanted one, but I know better to to not force and rush things. So I waited, and then just recently it it came up again, and so I had a look, and I was looking at some new ones, and then I was like, none of these feel right. So then I had a look at what was secondhand, and I found this one interstate. And so I messaged the guy and asked if he would be willing to post. And he was like, yeah, I can do that. And then, yeah, went through the process of getting it posted. And I mean, it should have been here last week, according, according to booking it. But then, as things happen, it wasn't meant to be. And, it was really perfect because I was doing some labouring for a roofer last week, and standing on a roof throwing tiles into a skip bin was absolutely perfect, because it was like it was like remembering all of the bits of me that weren't me, that over time that I've discovered, like, even this, like putting lanolin oil on. I'm not just putting lanolin oil on for the sake of it. It's because, having spent time out on farms and seen where sheep rub against metal, that it has this coating of their wool fat, and it doesn't rust. It stays like super super well conditioned. And it's, as this warms up, it'll start spreading better. And yeah, like it's all of the things in my human experience has culminated to this moment for me to get a handpan and start my handpan journey, which, you know some people probably think like this will be my beginning of learning how to play it, which in one way it will be, but it won't be, because had I got one back when I first discovered them and didn't know what I'd discovered, I would have watched YouTube videos and spoke to people, and essentially got taught how to play. But that's not the way that I intend to play it. The way that I intend to play it is, at the moment, energetically, I'm not really connected to the handpan yet, because I've literally just got it. The more, like, so if you think about it, like, there's this tiny little energy cord between me and the handpan, and the more the more I'm doing this, the more that I'm focusing all of my attention on the handpan, the stronger that energetic connection becomes. And then, if you've ever seen Eastus Tonus play his guitar, like he has just merged with that guitar, that the guitar is just the extension of him, and he is the extension of the guitar in some ways too. And so it's, I have no intention now, with where I'm at in my journey, of going and watching other people teach how to play things that they've learnt themselves, or they've learnt and then they're showing other people what they've learnt from other people. Whereas for me, it might take longer for me to really get comfortable with it and start producing what I want to produce, but it'll be built on my foundation energetically with this, instead of essentially bringing somebody else's foundation of their handpan experience. And then I'll get to a point where I want to start, creating something of my own that's unique, and then I'll be back to this stage of, I might have some like default patterns and tunes that I could fall back on and incorporate, but then, essentially they're still built off of somebody else's foundation. Which, one thing that I love about watching Eastus Tonus play is, through his expression through the guitar, you can actually see where sometimes he will be playing something. I mean, this is just what I sense anyway, but it's like he'll realize that he's playing in a way, like there'll be something in what he's playing, and it's in a way of like what people traditionally like traditional type, standard playing, instead of him just, playing by feel. And, watching that journey, it's like watching him try and undo old patterns. And that's the path that I don't want to take. I want to, I'm starting with a clean slate. So for myself, and I don't have anybody else's patterns. So, my journey with the handpan is going to look very different to other people's. And I mean, anyone that knows anything about me knows that I love, experimenting and carving my own path. And yeah, and even this, like the the lanolin oil, it looks rough, but then the more I work it in, the more I connect with it, the more the lanolin will soften. And if the sun decides to poke its head out from behind the clouds, I'll take it outside and let it warm up a little bit, and it'll be super easy to really get it to spread. And then there'll just be this nice coating left on it. And some people will probably be cringing like, oh my God, you should be using something else. But that's the thing, it's my handpan. I can do what I want with it. If I wanted to paint it, I could paint it. But yeah, and so when I heard, like when the guy that was selling it sent me a video of him playing it, because I needed to hear it so that I could see if it was energetically what I was looking for. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, yeah, that's going to be the one. And it's really funny because, I would love a custom handmade one, like from someone like Mumi. But the thing is, I don't know what I don't know until I know it. And with handpans, I didn't know what chords and stuff that I would want, and just all of the little things which are going to get so much easier the more that I spend time with this one, that then I'll have a baseline to work from, and I'll be able to go, oh, this is what I want, this is what I would rather change, and then I'll actually benefit getting a custom one. Whereas if I went and got a custom one, I'd essentially be getting an off the shelf, it'd be like this, like, I don't really know what I want. So, I would have had to get her to make me something standard. And so in the future, I'm sure I will figure out what I want. And I might not know the handpan terminology, but describing it to someone like that really understands it, they'll be like, oh yeah, so you want this, this, and this, like, and I know that I don't need to know all of the, common technical terms, and that the right person, whenever that aligns, they'll get what I want. they'll I'll be able to describe or show them, and it will make sense for them. And that's how I'll know that it'll be, once again, the right handpan. And just hearing this, like, it was, I'm trying to find the right words to describe it, but it's like, I mean, I know that a lot of people that are watching this won't have explored their emotional body. I guess I got to kind of separate that and go further back. So it's like, you can see me here, but I'm not my body. Like, my body is just one part of me. I've still got, my emotional body, my energy body, my astral body. Like, we've got all of these different bodies. So I mean, if I use this as an example, so it's like, so say this part is my physical body, and then this is my emotional body, and then there's all of these other parts of us. So it's like the whole handpan is the soul, but then like the physical body and all of these different parts, even like knowledge or things that, life lessons that we've learned will be, one aspect. And then, shadows that we haven't even acknowledged will be, somewhere that we're not even looking at the moment. And it's all of the parts of us that make up, the whole of us. And so, I mean, for me, like, I've been loving the challenging part of discovering who I am and getting to know myself underneath who I used to think I was, because it's so easy to absorb who everybody else thinks you are or wants you to be. And it's so easy to get swept up with, if you get caught in that cycle of, having to rush. And even this, like, there's probably people that are like, just shut up and, like, I want to hear the sound, but it's it's perfect for what I'm talking about. Like, it's just building that connection with the handpan and doing things my way. And I know that I'm not for everybody, and that's perfect. Like, because some people still haven't even realized that there's more to themselves than just the body or just the mind or whatever. And that's the thing about the human experience, is we're all individuals, and it would be like, if I was to compare, like, when I really start playing, if I was to compare myself to someone who's been playing for ages, all I'm going to do is feel like shit, because I haven't lived a day in their shoes. So why would I compare how they're playing it? Fortunately, I don't have any music training, so I really do have a blank slate, which for me is so amazing, because I'm not going to get stuck in the mind of you know, trying to incorporate things that I'd previously learnt, or, you know, try and get past those blockages and stuff. And, you know, really, like when I first got it and got it out the bag and just started feeling the sound of it, it really, it's like that when you see a child, you know, and they're trying something for the first time, like that freedom of just freedom and excitement of just trying something, like that's what it was like again. And so it really is like a brand new journey. And like when I mentioned earlier, like that thin energy cord between me and the handpan, like I can already feel that I'm connecting to it deeper, like just from doing this. And I'd already put a really thin coat of some liquid lanolin, but then I wanted to put a decent coat with just the really pure thick stuff. And I mean, it feels lanolin on the hands, like it smells amazing. I know that some people would probably be like, oh, that's a disgusting smell, but that's, you know, that's up to them. And so for me, the way that I'm going to teach myself is literally just like, just feeling. And at the moment, I know that I'm not that open to it because I'm partially focused on speaking, which I might forget about speaking for a minute. And so at the moment, all I'm doing is getting into my center, opening up my energy, and then intentionally connecting to the handpan and forgetting about the camera and forgetting about everything else. And then I'm just going to start exploring the handpan with, you know, and using different fingers as well. I can already feel there's going to be someone that can see energy, and they're just going to, yeah, they're going to see it. But something that I'm always doing within myself is building up patterns or deconstructing old patterns to create new patterns. And part of the reason I've got my eyes closed is because I want to create that pattern of muscle memory, which if I'm looking, it's going to be built on the foundation of looking at it, whereas I really want to do this all by feel. So, that's just my hands and my other senses instead of sight, which sight is very connected to the mind. Because essentially I want to create a pattern where I know where each thing is, that I can just go from one to another. And even between each chord. Anyway, that's enough of what I'm going to share. I hope you have an awesome day and try something new. It's so much fun.